A man flashed his genitals to drivers on the highway, and he said it was because he needed excitement in his life. A cocktail bar with a strict dress code also bans solo drinkers and receives backlash. And 2 Texas men were arrested in a plot to invade Haiti, kill all the men, enslave the women and the children. These are the weird stories from Monday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast, recorded by a solo guy in a closet. Here we go. A man is accused of flashing his genitals to drivers on the highway and claimed he needed the excitement in his life. Well, I mean, I've been bored before. Haven't we all been bored? Never been so bored in my life that I thought, you know what I need to do? Walk over to the side of the road in my sweatpants, just flash my genitals in oncoming traffic. Some guys get a motorcycle for excitement. Other guys, show their junk on the highway. We have a bored individual by the name of Danon Arai, age 30. He's charged with 2 counts of indecent exposure in Johnson County. Johnson County! How perfect. This guy's showing his Johnson in Johnson County. You can't make this stuff up, guys. Johnson County, Iowa. Well, maybe there's not a lot of excitement going on in Johnson County, Iowa. I don't want to judge this man. Maybe it really is a dull place. According to the criminal complaint, drivers saw Danon standing. It could be Danon. It looks like Danon. I'm not sure how to say this. Dannon, like the yogurt maybe? I'm going to call him Dannon after the yogurt. Drivers saw Dannon standing at the back of his car as he exposed his genitals to oncoming drivers. It's a very simple description of what was going on. I'm sure it's more complicated than that. Is he completely naked or just below the waist job? Did he have a hat on? Was he blowing a whistle? Blow the whistle. Beep, beep, beep. Well, here's a very fascinating tidbit of information. According to the court files, Dannon did this 2 days in a row. He was really lacking excitement. So after 1 day of flashing his genitals on the side of the highway, you'd think that'd be exciting enough, but it wasn't. It wasn't for Dannon. He's like, my excitement level is still low. I need to do this 2 days in a row. And if the highway isn't exciting enough, I'm going to make it on over to the airport and try it by the runway. Now, they got dates and times where Dannon was flashing his junk on the side of the highway. The first one took place on October 14th at 7:30 a.m. on Interstate 80. 7:30 a.m., that's rush hour, by the way, if you don't know. A lot of people saw Dannon's junk. It's funny. On the highway, I only get the finger from other people. No one shows me their genitals. My goodness, this is like free entertainment. The second incident involving Dannon and his need for excitement was reported at 3:30 p.m. on October 15th. That was the next day. He chose a different highway because Highway 80 wasn't exciting enough. He went to Interstate 380 near North Liberty. Apparently there's more traffic. Or maybe that's the highway that has more convertibles. When you're showing your genitals, you want a lot of people in convertibles. Or maybe this is a highway where rich people drive down and he was expecting some tips to be thrown out the window. I don't know if you can get tipped on the side of the highway for showing your genitals. I mean, stranger things have happened, though. You've heard of busking, right? Well, this is like busking, but it's called buffing, though. You just stand around with your nakedness. Now, the article says, a Johnson County Sheriff's deputy said Dannon admitted to the offense and said that he was, quote, fulfilling an excitement that was currently missing in his blah life. Dannon's got a blah life, missing excitement. He thought this could fill the void. I don't know, maybe ziplining isn't available in his area or something. Maybe he doesn't have friends to go paintballing with. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something else that might be exciting, yet affordable, that you could do solo. I like to get high and go in the bumper cars at amusement parks. That's pretty fun. You can do that alone if you don't have any friends. And, of course, there's always Florida. You just go to Florida. You need a little money to get to Florida. But once you're there, I mean, it's excitement everywhere. You're naked. They're naked. Everybody's just kind of acting out their inner darkest impulses in Florida. And it's quite acceptable, really. All right, well, that's the end of the article. It just says further information is not available. So we're not going to find out if his life is more exciting now. I'm sure it is, because being arrested, that's pretty exciting. That's not dull. Certainly the driver's days were more exciting, so his life was more exciting. The drivers are more exciting. Unfortunately, the joke's on Dannon at the end of the day, though, because I've heard that Iowa jails, very boring. A bar owner will not apologize for banning solo drinkers. The story is out of the UK. We have a bar owner who is defending his policy at his place where he's banned solo drinkers, and he's facing quite a lot of criticism. His name is Carl Peters. He owns a cocktail and karaoke bar called Alibi. It's in a place called Altrincham, Greater Manchester. Altrincham. I think it's Altrincham. I'll let you guys correct me. Now, the bar owner has this policy that's very controversial. He does not permit single entry after 9 p.m. So if you come to the bar solo after 9 p.m., he does not allow you inside. And as you can imagine, he's had to address some backlash over this very unique policy. I've never heard of a policy quite like this. In a video that he posted to the bar's Instagram page, he explained the door policy. He explains there's two main factors behind his rule. If something happens to that person, that single person, in a late-night busy bar environment where people are drinking, it's an absolute nightmare for us to deal with. It also happens to be the case that sometimes if you let people in on their own, there's a reason why they're on their own. They've got no one to talk to, so they start mithering other groups because they're not just going to sit there in a bar alone in silence. Now, I had to look up this word mithering, and I believe it's a British word. It must be. It's in this article, but it means bothering or pestering people. And I can certainly say that I've witnessed on many occasions solo men mithering women at the bar. So that's a little uncomfortable, can be anyways. The owner goes on to say if you are with guests already inside the venue, please contact them in advance of entry. This is for the safety of all guests. Now, his initial social media post about the policy got a lot of backlash, so he had to respond again, saying, it's certainly been an interesting couple of days with this door policy. To be honest with you, I just want to draw a line under it. I won't apologize for prioritizing people's safety. When they come to Alibi, that is the number one priority for me, followed by making sure you're having an amazing time and Britney Spears is being played. Well, one could argue that playing a lot of Britney Spears is assault on our ears, but I digest. Mr. Peters, the owner, stressed that people are allowed in on their own before 9 p.m. He added that the policy is brought up by potential customers at the door occasionally, but he believes it to be standard procedure in nightlife. He explained, I understand some people don't agree with the policy, but in a way I sort of don't care because this literally comes up maybe once or twice a month on the door. It's usually someone drunk at midnight wandering around trying to find somewhere to go, and we say, sorry, we don't let people in on their own. That's literally the application of it. It doesn't mean we don't let people in on their own. Obviously we do, just when the bar is absolutely packed after 9 p.m., it's like a nightclub in there, and so we don't because it is not safe. This obviously has gotten a lot of backlash. As you can imagine, online, this is what happens. Someone described this as discriminatory for single people. Another person said, I've been to the bar many times solo, and I never bother anybody. Well, yeah, I mean, there's always exception to the rule. No, this is a nightmare issue, and it's hard to make a real judgment unless you're familiar with the business and you're there. I mean, maybe he has had many instances of solo men, usually the creepy type, but solo men again and again harassing the women, and he's received many complaints in that area. I don't know why, if he did, I don't know why he wouldn't just say that, but that could be it. Maybe every time they find a drunk, passed out person, they're never with friends. Maybe that's happened over and over again. It's always the solo guy that's getting wasted, and there's no friends there to babysit him. And now the bar finds him and is like, anybody know this person? Anybody know this person? And now they got to deal with this person that's alone and drunk, passed out. I don't know. It is a weird policy. I've never seen it before, but, you know, then again, bars can do what they want. They're private businesses, right? They can say, we have a dress code here. They can say, we only let women in on a certain night. We only let LGBTQ people in on a certain night. We don't let anybody come in alone after a certain time. They can make all kinds of rules. They're a private business. And, of course, it doesn't make sense to force somebody into operate like everybody else operates. You let the market decide. You let the market decide whether or not this decision is smart. All right? The market will decide. If it's a bad decision, people aren't going to show up, and then his business will go out of business. And for those of you who are solo drinkers in the area, choose a different pub. I mean, this is, where it's Manchester? I mean, I assume there's a billion pubs in Manchester that you could go to if you want to drink alone. I mean, nobody's forcing you to patronize this Alibi place. I'm gonna tell you right now, the name is Alibi. It's not gonna be any good. All right, you don't want to go to a place. Alibi was a cool name for nightclubs in the '90s. All right, this isn't going to be very good. Don't feel like you're missing out on something, and so you need to homogenize this place. I'm very much against the homogenization of businesses. I really am. Aren't you guys sick of like all the same businesses in strip malls? Oh, another Subway next to a Panera, next to a Holiday Inn Express. It's like all these bars and restaurants are like they become the same. So allow them to have little quirks, even if you might not agree with the quirk. Oh, this one is a no pants policy. This one you can't come in alone. So what? There's enough room for all kinds. I like variety. I like different. You should like variety. You should embrace variety. If it's not for you, move on to the next one. It's called being an adult. But maybe you disagree. Maybe you think this bar is discriminatory on some level. Well, email me. Make your case. funnyjones@gmail.com. I welcome all points of view, as always.
Rinse takes your laundry and hand-delivers it to your door, expertly cleaned and folded. So you could take the time once spent folding and sorting and waiting to finally pursue a whole new version of you. Like Tea Time You. Or this Tea Time You. Or even this Tea Time You.
So did you hear about Dave?
Or even Tea Time You.
So update on Dave.
It's up to you. We'll take the laundry. Rinse. It's time to be great.
2 North Texas men have been indicted for planning to invade an island, murder the men, and enslave the women. This story's out of Plano, Texas. We have 2 North Texas individuals. They were arrested for an alleged scheme to sail to a foreign island, murder all the men, enslave the women and the children. The men apparently planned and trained for nearly a year in an elaborate attempt to fulfill what they're calling their rape fantasies. This is a pretty wild story, even for Weird AF News standards. When I saw the headline, I thought to myself, what in the meth is going on here? We have 2 Texas boys, Gavin Rivers Weisenberg, age 21, Tanner Christopher Thomas, age 20. Yeah, you can't trust 2 young white boys named Gavin and Tanner. They're going to try and take over an island and enslave the women. They've been indicted by a grand jury on counts of conspiracy to murder, to maim, kidnap in a foreign country, and production of child pornography. The charges were given for the pair's extensive plans to travel to a place called Ganave Island, which is part of Haiti, to attempt a coup d'etat. Well, on the surface, this seems a little ambitious for 2 20-year-olds, but, it really flips the script. They say these Gen Z people are lazy. These guys aren't lazy at all, but I think they're a little misguided. Dude, I'm telling you, I watched Rambo like 10 times. I totally think just the 2 of us could take over an island, kill all the men, and enslave the women and children. This could be no problem. We just need a couple knives, maybe a kayak. Now, according to court records, Gavin and Tanner, they prepared from August 2024 to July 2025 to execute their plans, in which they allegedly intended to buy a boat, sail to Haiti, kill every man on that island, overtake it by force, and then take the women and children as sex slaves. Pretty far out whacked plan, I'd say. But this is what happens when you play Call of Duty all day on drugs, and you have mafia ambitions but no friends or money. Now we got a timeline in this story that's pretty wild with details. From July 2024 to May 2025, the suspects took Haitian Creole classes to prepare for the coup. So they actually learned another language, okay? That sounds pretty serious. They were a little dedicated, took some classes, went to community college to prepare for an island takeover. Who knew that was offered? On August 5th, 2024, one of them enrolled at the North Texas Fire Academy. This was allegedly an effort to gain some training in useful skills for their plot. Okay. And then in January 2025, the other one enlisted in the U.S. Air Force. The documents say he intended to use his military training for the planned overthrow of the island. Well, again, very ambitious, but definitely misguided, because if you're trying to overthrow an island, you obviously would go into the Marines and, not the U.S. Air Force. I mean, unless you can pull up in a fighter plane. But I'm going to say they couldn't afford a fighter plane. So, on February 2025, the one that had enrolled in fire training failed out. February 20th, 2025, he bought tickets to Thailand, at least partially, to enroll in a sailing course to prepare for getting to Genitals Island, which has a population of 87,000. That was the island they're going to take over. The indictment says once he got to Thailand, he never actually enrolled due to the cost of the course. But who goes to Thailand to enroll in a course? You don't even look up how much the course is before you go over there. Wow. These guys are about 5 beers short of a six-pack, as they used to say. Now, in March 2025, the other one that was in the Air Force changed his assignment from a base in Germany to Maryland. The indictment says this was both to stay in the U.S. to continue planning their coup and to attempt to recruit homeless people from the Washington, D.C. area. Who's going to recruit your army from homeless people in D.C.? Wow, look at these masterminds, man. I happen to think that Beavis and Butthead just listened to way too much Joe Rogan. Let's recap this. So 2 idiots in Texas decide they want to take over an island of 87,000 in Haiti. For some reason, they chose Haiti. Not a place I would feel comfortable trying to take over, knowing Haitians' history. And they're not big fans of slavery either. That's been proven. So then one of them enrolls in the fire academy. The other one goes into the Air Force. Then the other one drops out of the fire academy to go to Thailand to learn sailing. But when he gets there, doesn't learn sailing. Then the Air Force cadets changes his location from Germany to the U.S., particularly Washington, D.C., because he believes that's the perfect place to recruit homeless people to help them with this island and enslavement takeover, which also includes murdering all the men on the island as well. 87,000 people. I mean, the plot is so asinine. It's a straight-up comedy. This is a plot to a comedy movie, like Spies Like Us or something. It's hard to even believe that this could be real. Like, how could you come up with this and then convince another friend to believe in it? I have a hard time convincing my friends to leave their house to meet me for a drink. I mean, something is really off. And it's scary that people with brains like this exist out there. They really think they're living in the 18th century. They have conquistador syndrome or something. The article ends by saying Tanner and Gavin are also accused of coercing a minor to engage in sex acts on camera on August 31st, 2024. That's just like a byline of the rest of the story. They're like, hey, we got this crazy story about these 2 kids that planned to take over an island in Haiti and enslave all the women and murder all the men. Oh, by the way, they were accused of coercing a minor to engage in sex acts on camera August 31st, 2024. So pedophiles, in addition. Now, it says Weisenberg and Thomas both face up to life in federal prison if they are convicted of conspiracy to commit murder in a foreign country. What about conspiracy to commit enslavement as well? Yes, I'm surprised that's not a charge as well. Hopefully Beavis and Butthead are going to go to jail for a very, very long time. Shouldn't be let out anytime soon. You can't have people like this with brains like this out mingling, mithering among us.
Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu? Is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Hi, my friends and loyal listeners of the Weird AF News podcast. Thanks for spending a little time with me on this episode. I think it was pretty weird. Probably one of the craziest stories I've ever covered. It's hard to believe that last one was even real, but bananas, indeed. I want to thank everybody who reached out to me over the weekend. I hope you had a great one. I hope you had a nice weekend. I had a little party on Saturday. It was like a Friendsgiving thing, and I was very hungover on Sunday, but it's okay to be hungover on Sunday. I got nothing to do. I could just lay back and watch NFL football all day, which is a joy for me. I want to give a shout out to Sherry Watson, who took the time to generate an AI song about me. It's about a funny guy in a closet, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty cool. So I just want to give Sherry a shout out. I'll probably post that eventually. I'll definitely throw it in the Patreon. But yeah, that was really nice. She also thanked me for creating the AI song that I made a week ago. And well, a few people seem to enjoy it, so maybe I'll make more of those. I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out some extracurricular activities to make the podcast more dynamic, as they say. I want to stand out from other news podcasts. I already do stand out because of my quirky personality and the bad accents and the singing and all that stuff, the accents and the impressions, mispronunciations of important names and places and people and whatnot. But I'm always looking for other ways to kind of jazz it up without changing the format completely. So that's one of the things I've been doing, is making those songs. All right, now I'm clearly rambling, and a lot of it is for my own self, so I'm going to stop. I just want to thank you for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow for another episode. If you want to support the podcast, go to weirdafnews.com, where you can buy a coffee or join the Patreon. I hope you have a great day. That's all. See you tomorrow. I'm here for you. All right.